Chapter 1. Early Notes. In the heart of South Africa, where the city of gold, Johannesburg, throbbed with the rhythm of an emerging nation, a new life blossomed. On the 4th of March, 1932, in a humble corner of this vibrant city, Miriam Makeba, a girl destined to touch millions with her voice, took her first breath. Miriam's childhood was filled with the bitter and the sweet. Life was difficult, money scarce, and every day was a struggle. But Miriam's mother, a domestic worker, carried an unwavering spirit, weaving dreams of a brighter future for her daughter. The sounds of Johannesburg, from the bustling marketplaces to the harmonious church choirs, seeped into young Miriam's soul and ignited a passion for music that would forever shape her life. Living in the heartland of apartheid South Africa, Miriam experienced the sharp sting of injustice from a tender age. Even as a child, she questioned the harsh lines drawn by the government that divided her people. These early experiences planted seeds of activism that would later flourish in her music and actions. The home that Miriam shared with her mother was small, but it was warm, full of love, and, most importantly, filled with music. Her mother's lullabies, sung in a soft, soothing voice, were her first introduction to the magic of song. These melodies, rich with the rhythm of their African heritage, danced in Miriam's heart and blossomed into an enduring love for music. As she grew, Miriam's voice started to catch the attention of her neighbours and friends. The girl could sing, and not just ordinarily so. There was something about her voice, a kind of magic that stirred emotions, making people stop and listen. In her singing, they found a common resonance, an echo of their joys, their sorrows, their hopes, and their dreams. At school, Miriam found herself drawn to the choir. Here, in the harmonies of hymns and traditional songs, her talent took root. Her voice, as melodious as the call of the songbird, rose above the others. Recognizing her extraordinary gift, her teachers nurtured her talent, setting her upon the path of music. These years of singing in the choir nurtured Miriam's voice, shaping it into a powerful instrument of expression. Little did she know then that her gift, her voice, would one day become a beacon of hope, resistance, and unity, the voice of Africa herself. However, despite the love for music that was flourishing in her heart, life was not a harmonious melody for young Miriam. Beneath the everyday rhythm of Johannesburg's busy streets, adversity lurked, waiting to strike a harsh chord in Miriam's life. When she was just 18 days old, an event occurred that would add a poignant note to Miriam's symphony of life. Her mother was arrested. In those days, under the oppressive apartheid system, even the smallest acts could be crimes. Miriam's mother had been making traditional beer to supplement her meagre income. This was seen as illegal by the authorities, and she was taken away. This early separation from her mother was a hard blow for the young child. It forced her to understand, even at a tender age, the harsh reality of their lives. It was a system where the law was not a shield for the poor, but a sword against them. This was the world Miriam was born into, a world where the colour of your skin could determine your destiny. As Miriam grew older, adversity remained a constant companion. The family's financial situation was bleak, and every day was a struggle to make ends meet. Her father's death, when she was only 6 years old, plunged the family into deeper hardship. School, at times, became a luxury they could not afford. Miriam had to leave school and work various jobs to help support her family. Despite these trials, Miriam's spirit remained unbroken. She drew strength from her adversities, letting them shape her, but not define her. She held on to her love for music, letting it be a balm for her soul in the darkest of times. Through the injustices she faced, the seeds of resistance were sown in her heart. The hardships she encountered during these early years, including her mother's arrest, served as a constant reminder of the oppressive system they lived under. These experiences deepened Miriam's understanding of her people's struggles and fueled her desire to fight for justice. She did not know then that her voice would become a powerful instrument in this fight, a beacon of hope for millions around the world. Thus, in a world of discord and injustice, amidst adversity and arrest, the early notes of Miriam Makeba's life were written. These experiences, these early struggles, would echo throughout her life, resonating in her music and guiding her journey to become the powerful voice of her people. Chapter 2. Rising Star. Miriam Makeba's voice, once a local marvel in her small Johannesburg community, was ready to charm a larger audience. Her journey from the humble township to the glittering world of music started with a chance meeting that led to her association with the Manhattan Brothers, a popular group known for their infectious rhythms and harmonious vocals. The Manhattan Brothers were stars of the South African music scene. They had won hearts with their unique blend of African rhythms, American jazz, and traditional gospel sounds. And they were looking for a female vocalist. When Miriam auditioned for them, her rich, soulful voice stood out immediately. It carried the depth of her experiences, the resonance of her roots, and the spirit of her people. Her voice, filled with a depth of emotion that couldn't be learned or taught, captivated the Manhattan Brothers. The stage was set. Miriam was invited to join the group, marking the beginning of her professional music career. With the Manhattan Brothers, Miriam's voice found a new outlet. She lent her voice to their soulful melodies, adding a new dimension to their music. She was no longer singing just for her community or her school choir. Her voice was being heard across the nation. The group's songs resonated with the people, their lyrics subtly echoing the struggles and aspirations of their listeners. And amidst this, Miriam's voice shone, her unique timbre striking a chord with those who heard her sing. After achieving considerable success with the Manhattan Brothers, Makeba formed an all-female group, the Skylarks. The group combined African melodies with Western jazz, creating a sound that was both unique and enchanting. Through their music, the Skylarks told stories of their people, their struggles, their joys, and their dreams. The Skylarks not only entertained, but they also educated, subtly spreading awareness about the political climate of the time. With the Skylarks, Miriam found a platform to raise her voice higher. She was not just a singer, she was a storyteller, an educator, a symbol of resistance. Her songs became the whispers of change, inspiring those who listened to dream of a better, fairer world. From a humble choir singer in Johannesburg to a celebrated vocalist with the Manhattan Brothers and the Skylarks, Miriam Makeba's star was on the rise. Little did she know that her journey had just begun, that her voice was destined to reach not just the corners of South Africa, but the entire world. Little did she know that she was not just a rising star, but a beacon of hope and change. The light of Miriam Makeba's talent, having illuminated the music scene in South Africa, was about to shine upon a much broader stage. From the heartlands of Africa, her voice was about to echo across continents, reaching out to the world. The path leading to this was paved with a series of fortuitous events, beginning with her role in the anti-apartheid documentary, Come Back, Africa. In 1959, Makeba starred in this groundbreaking film which exposed the harsh realities of life under the apartheid regime. Her role, though not prominent, resonated deeply with audiences, and her musical performances within the film captivated viewers around the world. This was the world's first glimpse of the woman who would come to be known as Mama Africa. Following the release of the film, Makeba was invited to attend its premiere at the Venice Film Festival. With her heart filled with nervous excitement, she embarked on a journey far from home, not knowing that it would lead her to an entirely new life. In Italy, her raw and powerful performance in the film won critical acclaim and drew the attention of audiences and industry professionals alike. It was at this festival that Makeba met Harry Belafonte, an American singer and actor, and a prominent civil rights activist. Recognizing her talent and the potential she had to become an international star, Belafonte offered to help her break into the American music industry. It was an opportunity of a lifetime, and with a mix of trepidation and anticipation, Makeba accepted. With Belafonte's help, Makeba released her first solo album in the United States, which included her most iconic song, Pota Pota. The song, with its infectious rhythm and Makeba's vibrant voice, became a sensation. It wasn't just the melody that captivated listeners, but also the spirit of Africa that the song embodied. Makeba's unique blend of traditional African music with contemporary jazz and pop made her an exotic figure in the Western music industry. She quickly gained popularity and won over audiences with her distinctive sound, her grace, and the earnestness in her voice. However, as her star ascended in the international music scene, her outspoken nature and her passionate criticism of the apartheid regime made her a target in her home country. But Makeba wasn't one to be easily silenced. While she basked in the glow of international fame, she used her platform to shed light on the struggles faced by her people back in South Africa. This chapter of Makeba's life was not just about her rise as an international music sensation, but also about her emergence as a vocal critic of apartheid. Through her songs and her words, she captured the attention of the world, not only as an artist, but also as a symbol of resistance against injustice. Stepping into the international limelight catapulted Miriam Makeba into a whirlwind of new experiences. The world was no longer a distant concept only heard through stories or seen on a map. It was a reality, a grand stage where she was the star. Travelling from one continent to another, she discovered different cultures, met people from diverse backgrounds, and performed on some of the most prestigious stages. For Makeba, this was a journey of contrasts and revelations. On one hand, she was a celebrated performer, invited to perform at grand venues, appearing on television, sharing stages with renowned artists. Her name was recognized, her talent lauded, her music adored. On the other hand, she was a stranger in a foreign land, far from her homeland, its familiar sights and sounds, its heartwarming smells and flavours. While she enjoyed the adoration and applause, she also grappled with homesickness, loneliness, and the harsh reality of being a black African woman in predominantly white countries during a time of rampant racial discrimination. Even as her songs topped the charts, she was sometimes denied basic services due to the colour of her skin. The world was not as she had imagined. It was a complex tapestry of incredible highs and disheartening lows. Yet, every experience, every encounter, whether bitter or sweet, added to her music. Her songs were not merely melodies and rhythms. They were her stories, her experiences, her hopes, and her dreams. Amidst her travels, Makeba became a cultural ambassador, introducing African music and rhythms to new audiences. Her songs, imbued with the spirit and essence of Africa, were a bridge connecting her audiences to her homeland. Through her performances, she gave the world a glimpse of Africa's rich cultural tapestry, its vibrant traditions, its captivating melodies, and its undying spirit. Yet, Makeba was not just a singer. She was also an activist. Every performance was a platform for her to voice out against the injustices of apartheid. She spoke of the pain and suffering her people endured, using her fame to raise awareness about the oppression back home. Her songs became anthems of resistance, echoing the cries of her people for freedom and equality. And so, as she travelled the world, as she encountered its beauty and its flaws, as she faced adulation and adversity, Miriam Makeba became more than a rising star. She became a voice of music, a voice of Africa, a voice of resistance. Chapter 3. Voice of the People. Miriam Makeba was not just an entertainer. She was a storyteller, a bearer of truth, and a messenger. Her songs, steeped in the rhythms and melodies of her homeland, were more than just beautiful compositions. They were narratives of her people, echoes of their experiences, and calls for justice. She became a voice for the voiceless, using her music as a powerful tool to convey political messages, particularly about the oppressive apartheid regime in South Africa. A closer look at Makeba's songs reveals an undercurrent of political commentary, sometimes subtle, sometimes bold. Her lyrics touched upon themes of poverty, racism, inequality, and above all, the longing for freedom. These were not just stories she told. They were realities she had experienced and witnessed. Take, for example, her iconic song, Pota Pota. At face value, it is a lively dance tune with an infectious rhythm. But look closer, and one can see a reflection of the vibrant, resilient spirit of the African people, despite the adversities they faced. The song, while seemingly carefree, subtly hints at the persistence of joy and resilience in the face of oppression. Similarly, her song Soweto Blues, a tribute to the victims of the Soweto uprising, paints a vivid picture of the tragic event. The lyrics, filled with poignant imagery, serve as a stark reminder of the harsh realities of apartheid. The sorrowful melody, combined with Makeba's soulful voice, stirs deep emotions, prompting listeners to reflect on the struggles of the South African people. Makeba's music was her platform, her stage not just for performance, but for protest. She sang of pain and hardship, of dreams and aspirations, and of the persistent hope for a better future. Her voice, filled with emotion and conviction, gave weight to her words, amplifying their impact. Through her music, Makeba became an ambassador for her people, sharing their stories with the world. Her songs served as a bridge, connecting her international audiences to the heart of Africa, allowing them to glimpse the realities hidden behind the headlines. Her music transcended boundaries of language and culture, speaking directly to the hearts of listeners around the world. Indeed, through the powerful medium of music, Miriam Makeba made the world listen. She gave voice to the struggles, hopes, and dreams of her people, using her songs as instruments of awareness and change. She wasn't just a singer. She was a beacon of truth, an advocate of justice, and truly the voice of the people. As Miriam Makeba's music echoed across continents, she found herself bearing more than her own personal identity. She had become a symbol, an emblem of the entire African continent. Her voice, once a child's lullaby in the Johannesburg townships, had transformed into a vibrant anthem of Africa, earning her the affectionate nickname Mama Africa. Makeba's rise to international fame coincided with a period when Africa's struggles and aspirations were gaining global attention. Amidst the African fight for independence from colonial rule and the struggle against apartheid, Makeba stood as a prominent figure, her music echoing the continent's pulsating heartbeat. Her songs, rich with African rhythms and languages, were like a vibrant tapestry showcasing the cultural richness of her motherland. Her influence extended beyond her music. Makeba was a proud African woman, unafraid to showcase her roots. From her traditional African clothing to her unique hairstyles, she presented an image that was authentic, untamed, and proud. Her unapologetic display of African heritage on international platforms helped shape global perceptions of African identity and challenged existing stereotypes. Makeba's influence as Mama Africa was deeply felt in her home continent. She became a source of inspiration for many Africans, a symbol of hope, strength, and resilience. Her success story served as a testament that an African child, even from the humblest beginnings, could reach great heights and make a difference in the world. Moreover, Makeba's outspoken stance against the apartheid regime and her dedication to social and political issues affecting her continent further cemented her image as Mama Africa. She used her international platform to advocate for the rights of African people, raising awareness about the injustices and struggles they faced. Through her actions and her music, she sent a clear message to the world. Africa's pains were her pains, its struggles her struggles, its hopes and dreams her own. Being Mama Africa was not just about carrying a title. It was a responsibility, a mission, and an honor. Miriam Makeba bore it with grace and unwavering dedication, becoming not just a voice, but a heartbeat, a rhythm that echoed the spirit of Africa across the world. She was not merely an African singing sensation. She was a symbol of African pride, resilience, and identity. Truly, she was and will always be remembered as Mama Africa. The rise of Miriam Makeba, fondly known as Mama Africa, as a global sensation was not without a significant sacrifice. Her outspoken critique of the apartheid regime and her tireless advocacy for the rights of her people led to a bitter consequence: exile. The South African government, viewing her as a threat, banned her from returning to her homeland. This phase of her life, her years in exile, was a time of personal hardship, but also profound growth. When Makeba left South Africa to promote the film Come Back, Africa in Italy, she did not anticipate that she was bidding farewell to her homeland. She had left with the joy of sharing her talent with the world, but her excitement was met with a chilling reality when she attempted to return after her mother's death. Her passport was revoked, and she was effectively barred from setting foot on the land she held dear. The pain of exile was like an unhealed wound. Yearning for the familiar sights and sounds of her homeland, she found herself in foreign lands that were vastly different from what she had known. She was homesick for the township streets, the African skies, the languages and laughter that filled the air in South Africa. And yet, these very feelings fueled her music and her advocacy. Living in exile, she found homes in different parts of the world: Guinea, Belgium, and the United States. These places became stages for her performance, her protest, and her plea for justice. She was embraced by communities worldwide, and her music, resonating with her longing for home, found a home in the hearts of millions. The hardship of living in exile was significant, but it did not deter Makeba. Instead, it amplified her resolve. She used her personal experiences to highlight the brutality of the apartheid regime to her global audience. She transformed her music into a platform for activism, her songs echoing the sufferings and resilience of her fellow South Africans. Each performance became an act of defiance against the forces that have forced her into exile. In her life in exile, Makeba remained connected to her roots. Her songs were imbued with the rhythms and languages of her homeland, and she continued to champion African traditions and aesthetics. Her life and career in exile served as a testament to her indomitable spirit and unyielding commitment to her cause. Makeba's years in exile were a complex blend of personal sorrow, professional success, and political advocacy. Amid the challenges, she emerged as an unwavering symbol of resistance against the oppressive apartheid regime. In her music and activism, she continued to embody the voice of the people, embodying the struggle, resilience, and spirit of South Africa, even from afar. Chapter 4. Personal Trials. Beneath the glittering facade of fame and success that encompassed Miriam Makeba's life, there lay a deeper, more personal side that was often shielded from public scrutiny. The woman known as Mama Africa, who charmed audiences with her soulful voice, also had a story of romance and heartbreak. A story that was, perhaps, as poignant as the melodies she sang. Makeba's personal relationships were as complex as her life. Throughout her journey, she had been a wife multiple times, each relationship presenting its unique set of joys, challenges, and sorrows. From her first marriage as a teenager to her later, more publicized relationships, Makeba's romantic life was a reflection of her enduring spirit and her quest for companionship and understanding. Her first marriage was at the age of 17 to a policeman named James Cube, with whom she had her only child, Bonji Makeba. However, the marriage was marred by domestic violence, leading to a swift end. Makeba had to face the challenges of single motherhood at a young age, while building her musical career. Makeba later married Sonny Pillay, a fellow singer, but this union was short-lived. The pressures of fame and the differences between them took a toll on their relationship, leading to its dissolution. Her marriage to Trinidadian civil rights activist and Black Panther member Stokely Carmichael was perhaps the most publicized. Their union symbolized a shared commitment to fighting racial injustice. However, this relationship also had significant repercussions on her career, leading to the cancellation of contracts and performances due to Carmichael's political views. In each relationship, Makeba sought not just love, but also companionship, understanding, and shared purpose. She faced heartbreak, separation, and loss, each leaving a mark on her heart. And yet, with each trial, she emerged stronger, using the pain and lessons learned as fodder for her music. In her songs, one can hear the echoes of her personal experiences, the longing for love, the pain of loss, and the strength to move on. Her music became her refuge, her solace in times of personal turmoil. It was in her melodies that she poured out her heart, her fears, and her hopes. Makeba's personal relationships and the heartbreaks she endured are a testament to her resilience. They served as reminders that behind the acclaimed performer, there was a woman who loved, lost, and continued to live and sing with all her heart. Her personal trials added depth to her music, making it not only beautiful, but also profoundly human. Life, in all its unpredictability, brought Miriam Makeba a medley of experiences. Her journey was speckled with both triumphs and trials, her moments of gain often shadowed by profound losses. These experiences shaped her, molding her into the resilient figure that would later resonate with people worldwide. One of the most profound losses in Makeba's life was her exile from South Africa. Being banished from the land she cherished dearly was a wound that never fully healed. The ache of longing for home, the sting of the apartheid government's rejection, was a sorrow she carried with her throughout her life. Despite the love and acceptance she found in foreign lands, a piece of her heart always yearned for the familiar comfort of South Africa. Perhaps the most significant personal loss was the passing of her only daughter, Bonji Makeba, in 1985. Bonji, who was also a singer and a mother, was a constant source of joy for Makeba. Losing her was an event that deeply affected Makeba, plunging her into profound grief. The sorrow of losing a child is unspeakable, and for Makeba, it was a pain she bore with remarkable strength and grace. Amidst these losses, Makeba also experienced significant gains. Her music career, which brought her global recognition and love, was undoubtedly one of the greatest gains. Her talent opened doors, allowing her to voice her people's struggles and aspirations and fight against racial injustice. The adulation she received from audiences worldwide, the impact she made, was a gain that filled her with a sense of purpose and satisfaction. In her personal life, too, Makeba found gains amidst the losses. The love and support she received from her fans and fellow activists were invaluable, providing her solace during her trials. Her marriages, despite their eventual dissolution, brought her companionship and shared purpose. The friendships she formed during her career and her activism were a source of strength and encouragement, offering her comfort during her most challenging times. Makeba's life was a poignant mix of loss and gain. Each loss she suffered left a mark, a scar on her heart. But with each scar there came a resilience, a determination to continue her journey. Her personal losses became a part of her music, adding a depth of emotion that resonated with her audiences. And with each gain, Makeba's spirit soared. She used her victories, her achievements, not for personal glory, but to further her cause, to fight for justice, and to give voice to the voiceless. Her life, in all its complexity, was a testament to the power of resilience, the strength to transform loss into gain, pain into power. Despite the swirling storm of personal trials in her life, Miriam Makeba continued to sing. Her music became her beacon of hope, her expression of resilience. Each note she sang, each rhythm she tapped into, was a testament to her unyielding spirit. In the face of adversity, Makeba found solace in her music. It became her safe haven, a space where she could express her emotions, her fears, her hopes, and her dreams. Her melodies, rich with the flavors of her African heritage and infused with her personal experiences, resonated with her listeners. They felt her pain, her joy, her longing, her hope, and her resilience. Music was more than a form of artistic expression for Makeba. It was her medium to communicate, to engage, to motivate, and to inspire. Despite her personal losses and heartbreaks, her music always reflected a sense of hope and resilience. Through her songs, she reminded her listeners of the power of unity, love, and perseverance. Her exile from her beloved South Africa was a painful experience. Yet she turned this personal trial into a universal message of resilience and resistance through her music. Her songs, imbued with longing for her homeland and an outspoken critique of the apartheid regime, echoed in the hearts of people worldwide. The heartbreaks and loss she endured added depth to her music. Her songs weren't just melodies, they were her stories, her experiences, and her emotions poured into rhythm and verse. Her audience didn't just hear her music. They felt it, empathizing with the woman who carried an unwavering melody amidst her personal trials. Throughout her life, Makeba remained dedicated to her craft. No matter what trials came her way, she held on to her music. Each personal experience, each pain, and each joy found a way into her music, making it raw, powerful, and profoundly human. Maintaining the melody was not just about continuing to sing. It was about harnessing her personal trials and transforming them into powerful, impactful music. It was about preserving the spirit of resilience, hope, and unity through her songs. Makeba's life and career were a testament to the enduring power of music, the power to heal, to connect, and to inspire, even amidst personal trials. Her melody, much like her spirit, remained unwavering, her music a beautiful echo of a life lived with courage, love, and resilience. Chapter 5. In the Heart of Activism. Miriam Makeba, Mum Africa, was not just a global music sensation. She was also a steadfast activist, standing tall against racial discrimination and injustice. Her involvement in the civil rights movement marked a significant chapter in her life and career, painting her as a symbol of resistance and hope. Born and raised in a country ravaged by the cruelty of apartheid, Makeba saw firsthand the brutal reality of racial segregation. From a young age, she witnessed the struggles, the pain, and the resistance that defined life under apartheid. These experiences planted the seeds of activism within her, leading her to use her voice not just for singing, but for speaking out against injustice. When Makeba's music propelled her onto the global stage, she did not shy away from using her platform to raise awareness about the conditions in South Africa. She openly criticized the apartheid regime, drawing international attention to the plight of black South Africans. Her outspokenness came with a heavy price: exile from her homeland. However, far from silencing her, this only amplified her resolve. She was a vocal advocate for the civil rights movement, aligning herself with other activists of the time and championing the cause of racial equality. During her time in the United States, she became closely involved with the civil rights movement. Her marriage to civil rights activist Stokely Carmichael further solidified her connection with the cause. Through performances, speeches, and collaborations with other activists, she stood at the forefront of the fight against racial discrimination. Makeba's stance against apartheid and racial discrimination was bold and courageous. She took a stand, leveraging her fame to highlight the atrocities of the apartheid regime and to advocate for the civil rights movement. Despite the potential risks to her career and personal safety, she remained unwavering in her commitment to justice and equality. In her songs, she wove the narrative of resistance and hope, a reflection of her personal beliefs and activism. Her music became anthems of the civil rights movement, resonating with people worldwide who were grappling with similar struggles. Through her music and activism, she gave voice to the voiceless, offering a beacon of hope to those fighting against injustice. The story of Miriam Makeba is not just the story of a talented musician. It is the story of a resilient activist. Amidst fame and success, she never lost sight of her roots, her people, and the struggle for justice. Through her involvement in the civil rights movement, she took a stand, asserting that silence in the face of injustice was not an option. In doing so, she cemented her place as an enduring symbol of resistance and hope, a role that she embraced with courage and dignity. Activism, a noble pursuit, often comes with a hefty price. For Miriam Makeba, her unwavering commitment to speaking out against racial discrimination and apartheid was not without consequences. Yet, despite the price she had to pay, she never compromised her values or silenced her voice. The first major consequence of her political activism was her exile from South Africa. After speaking out against apartheid at the United Nations in 1963, the South African government revoked her citizenship and her right to return to her homeland. This expulsion was a devastating blow for Makeba, who cherished her home country deeply. She found herself in a paradoxical situation, a voice for her people, yet unable to return to the very land and people she was fighting for. Her marriage to Stokely Carmichael, a prominent civil rights activist and member of the Black Panther Party, also came at a cost. This union marked a turning point in her career, leading to significant professional setbacks. The association with Carmichael, who was seen as a controversial figure due to his radical views, led to the cancellation of contracts and performances in the United States. Makeba once again found herself at odds with the establishment, her activism resulting in a direct impact on her livelihood. Another price of her activism was the constant surveillance and scrutiny she was subjected to. Her outspoken stance against racial injustice and apartheid made her a target. There were threats and attempts to silence her. a constant reminder of the dangers she faced in her quest for justice. Despite these consequences, Makeba remained undeterred. Instead of backing down, she continued to use her platform to raise awareness about the struggles and injustices faced by her people. Her music was her medium, her tool for activism, and she used it to highlight the pressing issues of the time. The price of her activism was high, but to Makeba, it was a price worth paying. She believed in the cause she was fighting for, and she was willing to face whatever consequences that came her way. In her eyes, the struggle for equality and justice was more important than personal comfort or safety. Makeba's courage and determination in the face of adversity were truly admirable. Her willingness to pay the price of activism, to endure personal sacrifices for the sake of a greater cause, marked her as a true champion of justice. Her legacy serves as a powerful reminder of the strength of conviction and the power of one voice in standing up against injustice. One of the most remarkable moments in Miriam Makeba's career as an activist was her powerful address at the United Nations in 1963. This speech, an impassioned plea for justice and equality, marked a pivotal point in her activism, casting her into the international spotlight as a resolute voice against apartheid. Stepping onto the global stage, Makeba carried with her the weight of her people's struggles. As she addressed the esteemed assembly, her words echoed with the painful reality of racial segregation, the oppressive system of apartheid that ravaged her homeland. In her address, Makeba shed light on the harsh realities of life under apartheid. She spoke about the indignities endured by black South Africans, the gross violations of human rights, and the dire need for change. Her words were raw and poignant, painting a vivid picture of the systemic oppression entrenched in South African society. She did not merely present facts, she narrated stories, infusing her speech with personal experiences and accounts of those around her. Her address was not a detached analysis of the political climate. It was a heartfelt appeal to humanity, to empathy, and to justice. She urged the international community to condemn the apartheid regime, to take a stand against racial discrimination, and to join the fight for equality. The impact of Makeba's speech was profound. Her words resonated with people worldwide, drawing attention to the injustices of apartheid and rallying international support for the cause. Her speech served to galvanize the global community into action, bringing the struggle against apartheid to the forefront of international consciousness. However, her courageous address came at a significant personal cost. In retaliation for her outspoken criticism, the South African government revoked her citizenship and her right to return to her home country. Despite this, Makeba remained resolute, using her exile to further highlight the injustices perpetrated by the apartheid regime. Miriam Makeba's address at the United Nations remains a defining moment in her career as an activist. Her powerful words, her bravery, and her unwavering commitment to justice exemplify the spirit of her activism. Her speech was not just an address, it was a battle cry, a call to action, a plea for justice. It underscored her role as a voice of resistance, a voice of truth, and a voice for the voiceless, reinforcing her legacy as a relentless champion of human rights and racial equality. Chapter 6. Return to the Homeland. After 3 decades of forced exile, a monumental shift in South Africa's political landscape finally allowed Miriam Makeba to return to her cherished homeland. The end of apartheid marked the end of her exile, a moment that was as much a personal victory for Makeba as it was a victory for her people. The winds of change began to blow in the late 1980s. Mounting internal unrest and international pressure pushed the South African government towards reform. In 1990, a landmark event took place. Nelson Mandela was released after 27 years of imprisonment. This marked a turning point in the nation's history, signalling the beginning of the end for apartheid. In 1994, South Africa held its first democratic elections, in which Nelson Mandela was elected as president. This was a pivotal moment, a testament to the resilience and courage of those who had fought against apartheid. Among those jubilant voices, one was especially poignant, that of Miriam Makeba, who could finally return to the land she loved so dearly. Her return to South Africa was not merely a homecoming, it was a symbol of hope, of resilience, and of victory. It marked the end of her personal journey of exile, a journey fraught with struggle and heartache. But more than that, it signified the triumph of justice, the dismantling of an oppressive regime, and the dawn of a new era for her beloved nation. Makeba's return to South Africa was laden with emotion. Her first steps on South African soil after 3 decades were a testament to her endurance and her commitment to her people. She was finally home, not as a visitor, but as a returning daughter, a voice of resilience that had stood firm against apartheid from afar. The end of her exile was also a testament to the power of her music and activism. She had used her platform to fight against an oppressive regime, and her return was a validation of her efforts. It affirmed the power of her voice, her music, and her unwavering commitment to justice. Her return to South Africa was met with jubilation. She was not just Miriam Makeba, the famed singer. She was Mama Africa, the voice of her people, the symbol of resistance, and the embodiment of hope. As she set foot in South Africa once again, she did so as a triumphant figure, a beacon of resilience, and a testament to the enduring spirit of her people. The end of Makeba's exile marked a new chapter in her life, one filled with hope and promise. Despite the hardships she had endured, her spirit remained unbroken. A return to her homeland was a poignant reminder of her resilience, her courage, and her unyielding commitment to the fight for justice. As Miriam Makeba set foot on South African soil after 3 long decades, the air was filled with joy, anticipation, and an overwhelming sense of homecoming. Her return was more than just a personal milestone. It was a national event, a symbol of hope, resilience, and triumph over adversity. The crowd that awaited her arrival was a sea of smiling faces, a vibrant tapestry of South Africans from all walks of life, their eyes filled with admiration and respect for this woman who had become an emblem of their struggle. They came together not just to welcome Makeba home, but to celebrate what her homecoming represented, victory over apartheid, and the start of a new era of freedom and equality. Makeba was welcomed with open arms, the warmth and affection of her people palpable. As she walked among them, she was greeted with cheers, applause, and cries of Mama Africa. Her name echoed through the streets, a chorus of voices expressing their love and admiration for her. The sheer joy and elation of her people upon her return was a testament to the impact she had made, not just as an artist, but as a symbol of their collective struggle and resilience. Makeba's homecoming was filled with touching reunions and emotional encounters. Friends and family who had been separated from her for decades rushed to embrace her, their tears a reflection of the pain of separation and the joy of reunion. She met with old acquaintances and fellow activists, their shared experiences a testament to their collective fight for justice. Her homecoming was also marked by public celebrations and performances. Makeba once again graced the stage, her voice resonating with the same passion and spirit that had defined her music throughout her career. As she sang, the crowd joined in, their voices united in song, an anthem of freedom, justice, and resilience. However, her return was not without its challenges. The South Africa she returned to was grappling with the aftermath of apartheid, facing the task of rebuilding and healing. But Makeba was no stranger to adversity. She faced these challenges head-on, committing herself to the work of healing, reconciliation, and nation-building. Makeba's homecoming was more than just a return to her homeland. It was a reaffirmation of her commitment to her people and their journey towards justice and equality. Her reception reflected the profound impact she had had on her nation, a testament to her influence as an artist, activist, and symbol of resistance. Despite the hardships she had faced, Makeba's spirit remained unbroken, her return to South Africa marking the beginning of a new chapter in her life and in the history of her beloved nation. Miriam Makeba's return to South Africa was not just a homecoming, it marked the beginning of a new era in her music. With apartheid behind her and her beloved homeland embracing a new dawn of freedom, Makeba's music too experienced a rebirth. In the post-apartheid era, Makeba's music mirrored the changing socio-political landscape of her country. Her songs were not just melodies. They were the anthems of a nation seeking to heal and find its identity in the new era. They reflected the emotions of her people, the joy of liberation, the pain of the past, the hope for the future, and the determination to build a better nation. Makeba poured her soul into her music, her songs ringing with renewed passion and purpose. She infused her music with the spirit of her people, their resilience, and their aspiration for a brighter future. Her voice, a powerful instrument, resonated with the sentiments of her nation, echoing the dreams, aspirations, and struggles of her people. Her songs of this era were filled with messages of unity, reconciliation, and healing. She sang of a South Africa that was rising from the ashes of apartheid, a nation that was learning to heal its wounds and embrace its diversity. Her music served as a balm to the fractured soul of her nation, offering hope and solace in the face of challenges. But Makeba's music in this era was not just about healing, it was also about celebration. She celebrated the vibrancy and richness of African culture, the strength and spirit of her people, and the promise of a brighter future. Her songs reverberated with the joy of freedom, the triumph over adversity, and the pride of a nation finally standing tall. Makeba continued to perform both locally and internationally, her music bridging the gap between cultures and connecting people across borders. Despite the changes in her life and her nation, her dedication to using music as a platform for social and political change remained steadfast. The new era of her music was a testament to her versatility as an artist and her unyielding commitment to her people. Miriam Makeba, the woman, might have returned home, but Mama Africa, the symbol of hope, resilience, and freedom, had never left. Through her music, she continued to inspire, to heal, and to unite, reaffirming her status as a music icon and a beacon of hope in the post-apartheid South Africa. Chapter 7. Legacy in Song. Miriam Makeba was more than just a singer. She was a pioneer, a trailblazer who used her music as a platform for social change. Her impact on the world of music is immeasurable, her influence resonating in the works of countless artists who came after her. Makeba's music transcended geographical boundaries and cultural barriers, touching the hearts of people across the globe. Her unique blend of traditional African rhythms with contemporary musical styles resulted in a sound that was distinctly her own, a sound that captivated audiences worldwide and inspired future generations of musicians. She was one of the first artists to bring African music to the international stage, paving the way for other African musicians to gain global recognition. Artists from across Africa and beyond cite Makeba as a significant influence, acknowledging the role she played in shaping their music and their careers. Among those she inspired were artists from diverse genres, from pop to reggae, from jazz to world music. They admired her not just for her music, but for her courage, her resilience, and her unwavering commitment to social justice. In Makeba, they saw a role model, a beacon of hope, and a testament to the power of music as a tool for change. Makeba's influence also extended to the themes and messages of her songs. She used her music to raise awareness about the struggles of her people and to advocate for social justice. Her songs, with their powerful messages of resistance, unity, and hope, inspired musicians to use their art as a platform for social commentary and activism. Through her music and her activism, Makeba left an indelible mark on the world of music. Her influence can be seen in the works of countless artists, in the global recognition of African music, and in the increasing use of music as a platform for social change. Her legacy lives on in the artists she inspired, in the music she created, and in the change she advocated for. Through her influence on future generations of musicians, Miriam Makeba continues to sing, her voice echoing in their music, her spirit resonating in their art. Throughout her illustrious career, Miriam Makeba received numerous honours and awards that reflected her contribution to music and society. These accolades were not just a recognition of her talent, but a testament to her commitment to using her music as a tool for social change. One of her earliest international recognitions was the Grammy Award she won in 1966 for Best Folk Recording, shared with Harry Belafonte for their album An Evening with Belafonte/Makeba. This album was special. It focused on the political plight of South Africans under apartheid, making a bold statement in the world of music. The award marked the beginning of her recognition on the global stage and placed African music in the international spotlight. Makeba was honoured several times by the global community for her dedication to the cause of justice and human rights. She received the Dag Hammarskjöld Peace Prize in 1986, recognising her ongoing work against apartheid and her efforts for peace and justice. In the 2000s, she received the Otto Hahn Peace Medal in gold by the United Nations Association of Germany, DGVN, in Berlin for her outstanding services to peace and international understanding. Her commitment to activism never wavered, and these awards bore testimony to her relentless pursuit of justice. She was also awarded the highest French civilian award, the Commander de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres, in 2004. The world of music honoured her contributions too, with the World Music Expo, WMEX, awarding her the Top World Music Award in 2005. In her home country, South Africa, she was revered and celebrated for her dedication to her people and her nation. After the end of apartheid, she received the highest national honour, the Order of Ikhamanga in gold, in 2004 for her contribution to the struggle against apartheid. Yet, for Makeba, the greatest recognition came not from the awards and honours, but from the love and admiration of her people. Her music had been their source of strength during their struggle for freedom, her voice a beacon of hope. The accolades were a testament to her talent and her activism, but the impact she had on her people and their fight for justice was her most meaningful legacy. From Grammy Awards to Peace Prizes, Makeba's array of recognitions painted a picture of a woman who was not just an artist, but a humanitarian and a beacon of hope. She dedicated her life to music and activism, and these honours and awards were a testament to her enduring impact on music and society. Miriam Makeba's influence and impact extend far beyond her time. Her legacy lives on, not just in her music, but in the lasting change she has inspired through her activism. Makeba was not just a musician. She was a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance, and a voice for the voiceless. Her life's work has left an enduring mark on music, society, and the global fight for justice. In the world of music, Makeba's influence is still palpable. She is widely credited for bringing African music to the global stage, paving the way for future generations of African artists to gain international recognition. Her unique fusion of traditional African rhythms with contemporary musical styles continues to inspire musicians worldwide, her groundbreaking work serving as a benchmark for global music. Makeba's music was her voice, a voice that spoke of the struggles, hopes, and dreams of her people. Her songs, with their powerful political themes, continue to resonate with people around the world, inspiring them to stand up for justice and equality. Through her music, Makeba continues to touch hearts, her songs serving as timeless anthems of resistance and hope. But Makeba's legacy extends beyond music. As an outspoken critic of apartheid, Makeba used her platform to raise awareness about the atrocities of the regime. Her bravery and commitment to the fight for justice continue to inspire activists around the world. Makeba's life serves as a testament to the power of one voice that dared to speak against injustice to make a difference. Even in her passing, Makeba's legacy lives on. She is remembered as a global icon who used her art as a weapon in the fight for justice. She is celebrated as a woman who stood up against a system of oppression, using her music to echo the cries of her people. Her spirit of resistance, her unwavering commitment to justice, and her undying love for her people continue to inspire generations. Her life story serves as a reminder of the power of music, courage, and conviction in driving social change. In her music and her activism, Miriam Makeba has left an enduring legacy. Her impact reverberates in the hearts of those she has touched with her music, in the lives of those she has inspired with her activism, and in the global fight for justice that she championed. Her voice, though silent now, continues to sing in the hearts of people around the world, her message of hope and resistance as powerful as ever. Chapter 8. The Final Note. The final years of Miriam Makeba's life were as vibrant and dynamic as her illustrious career. The stage may have changed, but the spirit of the songbird remained undimmed. Even as age crept in, Makeba never stopped singing, her voice still a stirring call for justice, her songs still a rallying cry for freedom. In these final years, Makeba continued to do what she loved the most, making music. She released several albums, infusing them with the same passion and authenticity that had characterized her work throughout her career. Her music continued to inspire, her songs still touched hearts, and her voice still resonated with the power of her convictions. But Makeba was not just a singer. She was an activist, and she continued her fight for justice, even in her final years. She used her platform to speak out against injustice, lending her voice to those who could not speak for themselves. She participated in rallies and events, advocating for peace, justice, and equality. Her commitment to her cause remained as strong as ever, her spirit undeterred by age or time. In 2005, she announced her retirement, but the music in her heart was not silenced. In true Makeba style, she embarked on a farewell tour, Farewell Song, allowing her to say goodbye to the fans who had supported her throughout her journey. The tour was a testament to her enduring popularity and influence, her performances still as captivating and powerful as they had been at the height of her career. Yet, even as she bid farewell to the stage, Makeba could not say goodbye to her activism. She founded the Zenzile Miriam Makeba Foundation, dedicated to promoting and preserving African heritage and culture. She also established the Makeba Rehabilitation Center for Girls, reaffirming her lifelong commitment to empowering the vulnerable. Makeba's final years were a poignant blend of music and activism. She continued to sing, to fight, and to inspire, proving that her spirit remained undimmed, her voice still potent. The spotlight may have dimmed, the applause may have faded, but the songbird continued to sing, her music still a beacon of hope, her voice still a rallying cry for freedom. In the end, Makeba lived as she sang, with courage, conviction, and a relentless pursuit of justice. Her final years were not a swan song, but a testament to her enduring spirit, a tribute to her unwavering commitment to her music, her people, and her cause. Even in her final act, Miriam Makeba was true to herself, a singer, an activist, and a beacon of hope. Miriam Makeba's final performance was a testament to the principles she held dear throughout her life. It was a symbol of her unwavering dedication to the fight against injustice, her commitment to her cause, and her passion for her music. This performance was not just a finale. It was a powerful message of hope and resistance, a fitting end to a life lived in service of music and humanity. On November 9, 2008, Makeba was in Castel Volturno, Italy, for a concert. But this was no ordinary concert. The event was organized to support Roberto Saviano, an author who was under threat for exposing the activities of the Camorra, a local crime syndicate. Even in her final performance, Makeba chose to stand against injustice, using her music as a tool for resistance, a voice for those silenced by fear and oppression. Makeba's performance was as powerful and heartfelt as ever. Her voice, still resonant with the rich timbre that had captivated audiences for decades, filled the venue. The audience was entranced, swept up in the magic of her music, the power of her message, and the depth of her conviction. For those present, it was an unforgettable experience, a poignant reminder of the power of music to inspire, unite, and resist. But as the final notes of her song echoed through the venue, Makeba was suddenly stricken with a heart attack. Despite the best efforts of those around her, Makeba passed away shortly after being taken to the hospital. The world had lost a global icon, a beacon of hope, and a voice for the voiceless. The songbird had sung her final note. Makeba's final performance was a testament to her life and legacy. It was a performance filled with passion, conviction, and defiance. It was a message of resistance against injustice, a demonstration of the power of music to unite and inspire. Even in her final moments, Makeba stood against oppression, her voice ringing out in defense of freedom and justice. The world mourned the loss of a great artist and a tireless activist. Tributes flowed in from across the globe, a testament to her wide-reaching influence and the deep impact she had on people's lives. Her voice had been silenced, but her message lived on, her music continued to inspire, and her legacy remained undimmed. The final performance was a fitting end to Makeba's remarkable journey. She had lived her life on her own terms, using her music to fight for justice and freedom. She had spent her final moments on stage, singing for a cause she believed in. Her final note was not one of farewell, but of defiance, a powerful anthem of resistance that will echo through the ages. As the news of Miriam Makeba's passing spread, the world came together to mourn the loss of a remarkable woman whose influence stretched far beyond the boundaries of her native South Africa. The legacy she left behind was a vivid tapestry woven with threads of music, activism, and a deep love for her people. Her voice, both in song and activism, had etched a lasting impression in the hearts of millions across the globe. People remembered Makeba as Mama Africa, the title she had earned through her tireless efforts to promote African culture and identity. Through her music, she had become a bridge connecting different cultures and encouraging dialogue and understanding. Her songs, imbued with the spirit of her homeland, brought the rich tapestry of African music to a global audience. Makeba's role as an activist was also a significant part of her legacy. She had used her global fame as a platform to voice the plight of the South African people under apartheid, becoming one of the most vocal advocates for their cause. Her passionate speeches at the United Nations had drawn international attention to the injustices of apartheid, making her a symbol of resistance against oppression. Even after her death, Makeba's activism continued to inspire. Her life served as a beacon, encouraging others to stand up against injustice. Many activists and musicians cited her as a significant influence, her life and work a testament to the power of conviction and perseverance. Furthermore, Makeba's influence on music was profound. She had brought African music to the global stage, popularizing its rhythms and melodies. Her unique blend of jazz, folk, and traditional African music had paved the way for future African artists, providing them with a platform to share their culture with the world. Her music continues to inspire, its themes of love, unity, and resistance still resonating with audiences today. In the wake of her death, tributes poured in from around the world, reflecting the global reach of her influence. Leaders, artists, activists, people from all walks of life expressed their admiration for Makeba and the impact she had on their lives. Concerts were held in her honor, songs were written in her memory, and awards were posthumously bestowed, further cementing her legacy. In the end, Makeba's legacy was not just her music or her activism, it was the indomitable spirit that infused both. She was a woman who dared to stand up against injustice, to raise her voice for those who could not, and to share her culture with the world. The echoes of her voice, both in song and in activism, continue to reverberate, inspiring new generations to strive for justice, unity, and cultural understanding. The songbird may have sung her final note, but her melody lingers on, her legacy enduring in the hearts and minds of those she touched with her life.